Yo, what's up guys, it's Tensei here, and today we are going to be looking at what I think Chazz Princeton is going to get in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Speed Duel box. But yeah, let's not waste any more time here and just let's get right into it. So, we have the three Ojama normal monsters with the identical Light Beast level 2 0 1000 stats. You need these for your plays, but they don't do much by themselves. Then Ojama Blue is a battle floater that adds 2 Ojamas from your deck to your hand. It's a little slow, but we have viable battle floaters like Giant Rat and Apprentice Magician in the format, so I don't think this is too much of an issue. Then Red summons up to 4 Ojamas from your hand in attack, so usually that's going to mean you summon 2. But maybe if something destroys Red, you can even summon 3. And this does give you 3 tributes with the Ojama match, so maybe you could make like an Ojama God deck even. And then Pink is the newest Ojama in the TCG, and I think it's a little toxic, so if it's sent from hand or field to grave, you can make both players draw and discard one, and if you discard an Ojama, you choose an opponent's unused monster zone, and it can't be used until the end of your opponent's turn. So it's maybe making you able to dig through your deck faster, which is a little annoying with 20 cards, I think. And the whole unused monster zone thing by itself is not maybe too much, but if there's also an Ojama Knight, maybe you could lock all of your opponent's zones for a turn, or maybe even 2 turns if you get to resolve this again, and that does not sound like fun to me. But maybe we get it, maybe we don't. I hope we don't, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do. Then Magic adds Ojama Green, Yellow and Black from deck to hand if you send these from hand or field to grave. So Breaker maybe, I don't know if you'd want to use your Breaker to get 3 Ojamas to your hand, but mostly discard effects. So the Ojama Country of course here, but anything that discards, like, doesn't have to be an Ojama card, just plenty of ways to discard it, maybe even Viral Infection. You could then use the Ojamas next turn to mill 3 more of your opponent's cards, so yeah, Ojama Viral, here we go. And Assimilation is how we combine Ojamas with the Union aspect of Chazz's deck. I don't know if Konami would actually give us all 3 here, since it's kind of hard with space. But yeah, who knows, maybe you get all 3 Ojamas, Armed Dragons and Unions. So you basically reveal a Light Machine Fusion from your extra deck and then banish Ojamas from hand, face up, field or grave, and special summon different materials listed on that card. So for example, if you reveal V and W, you banish 2 Ojamas, and then summon V Tiger Jet and W Wing Catapult, so you can easily fuse them into the VW Tiger Catapult. This is a little powerful, since with Xyz Dragon Cannon you actually get 4800 attack on board at once with this spell, but it needs setup and it's not going to be splashed into any other deck since you need a bunch of Ojamas and a bunch of Unions, so it's very like deck building restricting. It's powerful, but I think some powerful plays are allowed and should be allowed. Then Match integrates Armed Dragons and Ojamas, so sending 1 Ojama from your hand or face up field to grave lets you add an Ojama and an Armed Dragon from your deck and or graveyard, and then normal summon 1 of them, and then also recycle your banished Ojamas again, like you can also do with Assimilation. I think this is really nice, and it lets you even trigger level 3 in your standby phase, giving you quick access to level 5 without using your normal summon even. So that's good, but also I don't think it's insane. There are decks that lets you summon 2400 monsters in 1 turn already, and there's potentially going to be some small power creep anyway to sell these new cards. And yeah, what's not to love in the artwork, it looks very fun. Delta Hurricane is kinda rough to resolve probably, unless we get something that helps it, like a new skill, or Tri-White that summons 3 level 2 or lower normal monsters from your graveyard. But yeah, destroying all cards your opponent controls is cool, but I think a lot of the time this card would sit dead in your hand without any way to activate it that turn. Then Country is the Ojama Field spell. It lets you summon Ojamas by discarding other Ojamas and switches the attack and defense of all monsters on the field if you control an Ojama. So this lets you beat over some stuff like the LF Justice Close Loss. Wait, no, that's unaffected by this. Well, Breaker Damage Called Warrior. Yeah, sure, that's good. And it has only 900 defense. But unfortunately, a lot of stuff does have higher than 1000 defense, so Country doesn't really let you run over a lot of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's a way to get some field presence, but you still probably lose in battles. And Magic Ojama only we get King, but I didn't actually include King here, since I kind of don't want a monster that just at once locks all monster zones. Yeah, that's basically it for that. And then Pajama is a very powerful Ojama trap that protects your armed dragons and light machines by banishing Ojamas from your hand, field, or grave. And then you can even add one Ojama from your deck to your hand and discard one card during each main phase, so your opponent's turn and yours. So honestly, this might just get a little too much card advantage. It's a good card, and even lets you special as many Ojamas as possible when it's sent to grave. Yeah, this might be a little too much, but also you just have to play a ton of Ojamas to really get value from it. So maybe you just lack a win condition even with all the powerful card advantage you can get by resolving Ojama Pajama multiple times. Yeah, that's it for the Ojamas. Let's actually start with the smaller ones here for Armed Dragons. So Armed Dragon level 3 is very simple. This will then progressively get more powerful. So you just send it to grave in standby phase and special summon level 5. And if you use the Armed Dragon Flash or Ojama Match, you get to actually have this out on your own first standby phase, giving you Armed Dragon level 5 access very quickly. And then level 5 has the first removal effect. So you send a monster from hand to grave and then destroy something weaker from your opponent. And in the end phase, if it destroys something, you can special summon, destroy it by battle rather. You can special level 7 from hand or deck. And then level 7 here must be special summoned with level 5, and it sends a monster from your hand to grave again, but this time it destroys all monsters with less attack, not just one. Then level 10 unfortunately has to be special summoned from your hand only, so level 7 doesn't bring it out for free, which makes it a little yikes and maybe not even worth playing. But it does get a more powerful effect, so you send any card from hand to grave and destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls, so no regard for attack, even discard spells, maybe Ojama Magic for example. And then the more powerful boss monster here would be Armed Dragon level 10 white. That must be special summoned by banishing armed dragons from your field or grave whose total levels equal 10. So just one level 10 would be enough for this. And that's also a good reason for running level 10 maybe, but you also can just banish 3 and 7. And so, after you special summon this, you also get to add one white veil from your deck to your hand. And that's what we're going to be talking about soon. But this stops all effect damage, so no Nightmare Wheel, no Zoma, which is really nice. Getting some counters for annoying cards like Zoma the Spirit. And then at the start of the damage step, if this attacks, you can destroy a card on the field. So this means even if you attack something stronger than it, you can still destroy the monster it's going to battle and just avoid that battle. But anything goes and it doesn't target, so very useful. It even outs Obelisk if someone decides to be brave enough to play Obelisk. But yeah, the card it searches is White Veil, which gives your opponent, gives your monster a way to stop all spells and traps if it battles, and if an attack is declared involving it, it's going to negate all face-up spells and traps your opponent controls. So it does also counter Zoma that way, and anything else that's going to stop attacks. Yeah, I don't know if it's... Nothing really special comes to my mind here. But yeah, it will negate face-up spells and traps as well. And then if the equipped monster destroys a monster by battle, it's going to destroy all spells and traps your opponent has. So that is powerful, but keep in mind you can still just Book of Moon the Armed Dragon on summon, or offerings, anything before it attacks is fine. So this only really hard counters battle traps. And then the downside to this card is if it leaves the field, you're going to take 3000 damage. So you don't just want to blindly use it and hope for the best. If they offerings you, you're going to almost die. And maybe you already took some damage and you actually do die just from activating White Veil and losing it. It's a complicated card and just might be a little insane, but I think it has relevant counters to not make it actually just break the game. And then finally, another newer Armed Dragon card not used by Chazz in the anime is Armed Dragon Thunder level 3. I don't think the other should be in, but this is just a way to also just give level 5 quickly. And you don't want to just wait a turn and hope that little original level 3 survives. So that's where level 3 comes in, and you can just send a monster from hand to grave and these from field to grave, and special summon level 5 or lower Armed Dragon from your hand or deck. So usually this means the level 5. And then if this is sent to the graveyard to activate a dragon effect, you can draw a card. So having 2 of these will let you actually just bring out, discard 1, and then that will replace itself. So you don't even really go neg if you get both in your hand. Which is not too hard if you get enough of the consistency cards. And yeah, there's a lot of consistency cards, so maybe all of them would be a little overkill. Maybe skip the Armed Dragon Flash I had intended here. But yeah, Flash, specials level 3 Armed Dragon from your deck in defense. And since it's a quick play, you can actually just use it on your own standby phase or draw phase. And then in the standby phase, give the level 3 out quickly. And that lets you summon the level 5 instantly as well. But yeah, level 5 is good, but it's not going to just break the game anyway. I think it's fine to just have turbo cards for it. And yeah, then Unrecognized Lightning is the other spell and trap I think is good enough, but also not too good. So it can send itself from field to grave to protect an Armed Dragon from being destroyed by an effect, which means you are not that weak against offerings, although arguably that makes the white also more powerful. And then you can choose to use one of the following effects per turn. So you can either boost an Armed Dragon with its level times 100, so giving your Armed Dragon level 5 more attack to get over Jinzo or Hades or anything like that is kinda useful. And then, of course, you can also add an Armed Dragon monster with an equal or lower level than a target on your field. So it lets you keep your flow going and get resources back for a follow-up. And then Masked Dragon might be a little slow here, but I think it's cool to include it in case some other people want to use it in their dragon decks. Or if you just like Masked Dragon, it's like a giant rat for dragons. Yeah, I think it's cool. Maybe a little late, should have been added earlier. But overall it's cool. I have some nostalgia for it as well. That's it for the dragons, and finally we have the small union package. This would also assume that they reprint the XYZ cards in this, and at that point we are getting like close to 30 cards. So surely not all of these will be in, but I think some of these are definitely going to be in, but I don't know exactly which ones will be cut. I don't think anything here is obvious to be cut. Yeah, they just can't fit all of these in one box. Anyway, these are very basic. V is just a normal monster, and W Wing Catapult is a 400 attack union, and they fuse to combine VW Tiger Catapult, which can discard a card and target a monster your opponent controls, change its battle position. So this is a little worse than YZ since for dealing with like face downs, but it can actually deal with stuff like Chinzo by making it go to defense, which none of the others really can do. Well, XZ could crash, but yeah, this could actually deal with a Chinzo. Unfortunately, it has super bad synergy with Union Hangar, so you would need like a Foolish or Frontline Base to get it out in one turn, and that's not great, but you need it if they want to give us VW XYZ Dragon Catapult Cannon, which needs both VW Tiger Catapult and XYZ Dragon Cannon, and then just... This is very overkill since XYZ Dragon Cannon is usually enough by itself, but lets you target a card each turn and banish it, and then if it attacks you get to choose your opponent's attack target's battle position. But this is iconic, but honestly it's... If I got to decide, I would just cut the Union stuff like Assimilation, VW, and just make like an Ojama Armed Dragon deck. Since Kaiba already has a decent Union deck and it doesn't really need this anyway, I don't think it adds a lot to the viability of the Union deck, so maybe they just add it anyway because it's cool and iconic, but it's not needed, honestly. And finally, we have Xyz Hyper Canon, so you need an XYZ Dragon Cannon or a fusion that lists it to activate this. And on your turn you can put one of your banished unions to bottom of your deck and draw a card. And on the opponent's turn you can discard any number of cards and then destroy the equal amount of cards on your opponent's side. So this is a newer card in TCG, but I think maybe it just works well enough here with XYZ Dragon Cannon. But yeah, it might not be needed anyway since you already have like a decent engine in the Union deck as is. But it's more options for people who like that deck. Then yeah, we also have the Extreme Fusion here for the Unions, which is Armed Dragon Catapult Cannon. So this needs the VWXYG Dragon Catapult Cannon and Armed Dragon level 7, and both must be summoned in one duel, and then you banish both on your in your field and or graveyard. Yeah, this is super overkill, and you definitely need like a new skill to make it maybe happen viably. And it's... But at that point, you might just make it a little insane, since this just... Yeah, this is funny. You get to just banish one card from your deck or extra deck and banish all cards in your opponent's field and grave, and also negate any effects that share the name with a banished card. So maybe if they really want to go overkill, this is very funny. But yeah, honestly, I hope it doesn't become viable. Maybe as a meme deck, but I hope it doesn't become good with like a broken skill. And one more fusion, there's Ojama Knight. As I said, I elected to ignore King, even though it's obviously more boss monster worthy, but it blocks 3 unused monster zones. So if you summon it in one turn, you just kind of make your opponent unable to play any monsters, and I don't want to support anything like that. And it becomes 2500 under country, so maybe that's your beat stick with Ojamas? Question mark? Yeah, that's it for like the engine cards, let's say, he uses. I also found Magical Mallet as a card he used a couple of times. So this lets you shuffle your hand back to your deck, any number of cards from your hand into your deck, and draw the same number. So it's hand fixing, but it's also a neg 1. So maybe like a Moth deck could use this for some extra attempts to draw Moth. But even in that deck, I think you'd rather want to use like removal cards. And you don't want to go neg just to like, yeah, now you see Parasite, but you couldn't answer your opponent's Book of Moon, so now you lose even if you saw Parasite. I think it's fine. It's not really needed, but I really have a hard time believing it would break anything. And the other two cards are not Chazz cards, but they would help his strategy. So Obedience School lets you special 3 level 2 or lower beast effect monsters with different names from your deck, but it negates them and they're destroyed in the end phase. So this would only summon the effect Ojamas. So they'd either have to, if they added this, they would have to add pink or some other beasts to make Obedience School work. But it would also just give you more access to Ojamas and maybe just tribute them for something or banish for assimilation. Although that would need to be on a different turn since Obedience School locks you into beasts that turn. I think it's a little unlikely to get Obedience School, but I think it's a funny card that they would have an excuse to put here. So don't think it's too likely, but it's funny and not impossible in my opinion. And finally, I included Ayers Rock Sunrise. I don't think Chumley would get in since he's not in Duel Links, but this is a classic GX card used by Chumley, and it's even basically the theme of that one episode where he duels Crowler. And since Chazz has some beast monsters, this would actually fit in his deck, while also giving Chumley his card that you won't really be able to put into a full Chumley based deck. And it also supports older beast cards we got in the Battle City box, like the Behemoth and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it for the Chazz video. And I will try to upload more videos this week. Maybe like even get one video out per day, so you'd get every character by Sunday. But if you like this video, you can like this video and subscribe for more content. I will be doing more Battle City speculation discussions, so feel free to watch me do that in the later days here. And yeah, have a good one. Goodbye.